Let me show you something interesting. Nigeria pumps around 1.5 million barrels of oil daily. Kuwait does about 2.4 million. Pretty similar scale, right? But here's where it gets fascinating. The average Kuwaiti lives on about $34,000 a year. The average Nigerian, around $2,000 per year. Same black gold, same potential, two different outcomes. So what's the difference? And more importantly, what can Nigeria learn from it? Both countries are OPEC members. Both have been blessed with oil for decades. Both should be thriving. And here's the thing, Nigeria has something Kuwait doesn't. 200 million people, incredible talent, massive potential markets. One of Africa's most dynamic economies. So if Nigeria has that potential, what's holding it back? The answer isn't about capability, it's about structure. And that can be changed. So let's look at how both countries manage their oil, because this is where everything becomes clear. Kuwait's model, the state owns 100%. Kuwait Petroleum Corporation controls everything from drilling to exports. Every single dollar flows back to the government, then to the people. Now, what did they build with that? One of the world's largest sovereign wealth funds, free healthcare for citizens, free education, infrastructure that rivals anywhere in the world. Nigeria's oil structure, NNPCL, holds around 40% in most oil ventures. Foreign companies, Shell, Exxon, Total, control the majority of operations and profits. That's about 60%. Remember, we talked about Kuwait owning 100% of its oil sector. Nigeria, on the other hand, owns just 40%, meaning Nigeria's oil, as we hear it, isn't really Nigerian. Now, here's what's important. This isn't really Nigeria's fault. This is the system that was inherited from colonial times, the same system most African countries get stuck with. But here's the exciting part. Other African countries are starting to change this structure, and Nigeria can too. In 1 year, Kuwait generated $81 billion from oil. Nigeria, with similar production and way more people, have the potential to do even more if it changes its structure. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds complicated. Can it really change? Let me show you something that will give you hope. The Nigerian government is already taking steps. For the first time, we have digital licensing reforms. New refineries like the Dangote refinery are coming online. Anti-corruption measures are showing progress. Oil theft dropped to a 16-year low in 2024. That's progress. But here's where it gets even more powerful. When citizens understand how the system works, they can demand better. Look at what Kuwait did after independence in 1961. They immediately nationalized their oil. They said, "This belongs to us. We will manage it transparently. The profits stay here and benefit our people." Now, this is something that is just only happening in Burkina Faso from 2022, and we are already seeing changes. Other parts of the world had begun this same move right from 1961. It had to take Ibrahim Traoré to come up with this idea in Burkina Faso. Now let's go back to Kuwait. Even after Iraq invaded in 1990 and destroyed their infrastructure, they rebuilt stronger. Why? Because they had savings, they had transparent systems. In Nigeria, most citizens don't even understand how oil transactions work. The governments of resource-rich countries should make the system as transparent as possible. Nigeria has every resource Kuwait has. More people, more diversity, more creativity. The only difference is structure, and structure can be rebuilt. And this is not just theory. Other African countries are doing this. Ghana pushed back on foreign oil companies. They demanded higher state ownership in the Jubilee field. They insisted on local content policies, meaning Ghanaians get trained, hired, and build the expertise. Senegal just found massive gas reserves. Instead of rushing into the cold colonial-style deals, they are negotiating smarter. They are keeping more profits home. Uganda straight up refused to sign rushed contracts, and that's why sometimes I give credit to Museveni, despite the fact that he doesn't want to leave power. Museveni, he demanded local refineries, job creation, and higher state ownership. And then there is Burkina Faso. Ibrahim Traoré said something that every Nigerian should hear. We don't want aid, we want handouts. Teach us how to build refineries, show us how to process our own gold, our own resources, then step aside. That's what they told Russia, one of the biggest military powers in the world. If smaller African countries can renegotiate and demand better, imagine what Nigeria with 200 million people, the largest economy in Africa, could do. Kuwait understands their oil wealth. They know where the money goes. They expect transparency, and their government delivers because the people demand it. Nigerian youth are some of the most educated, innovative, and connected on the continent. The tech scene in Lagos rivals anywhere in the world. Nigerian creatives are influencing global culture. That same energy, when focused on demanding transparency, better contracts, and citizen-first policies, can transform the country. The Dangote refinery is already operational. Imagine if every dollar from Nigerian oil stayed in Nigeria. Imagine if that money funded Nigerian schools, Nigerian hospitals, Nigerian infrastructure, railways. That's not a dream, that's a choice. And it starts with citizens holding leaders accountable. Now here's what the Kuwait model teaches Nigeria. Full ownership doesn't just mean more money, it means control over your destiny. Kuwait owns 100% of its oil. That's why every Kuwaiti benefits healthcare, education, infrastructure. Nigeria currently owns 40% or less in most deals. But that can change. Ghana changed it. Senegal is changing it. Uganda is changing it. And here's the beautiful part. Nigeria doesn't need to copy Kuwait. Exactly. Nigeria can build something even better. A model that reflects Nigerian values, Nigerian creativity, Nigerian strength. Nigeria has the people, the talents, the resources. What it needs now is a structure and the citizen pressure to demand that structure changes. So here's my question for you. If Nigeria owns 100% of its oil, like Saudi Arabia, like Kuwait, like Norway, what would you want built first? Schools, hospitals, tech hubs, infrastructure? Drop a comment because the conversation itself is powerful. When citizens start asking the questions, leaders have to answer. And here's the bigger truth. Nigeria's story isn't just about Nigeria. It's about the entire continent. Cameroon, Gabon. If Africa's largest economy can transform its resource management, it shows every African country what's truly possible. Kuwait rebuilt after being invaded. They saved, they invested transparently, they put citizens first. Nigeria has never been invaded. They have more talent, more people, more potential. The only question is, what structure will Nigeria choose? If this gave you hope of what Nigeria can become, subscribe, because Pan-African stories of transformation are just beginning. The future isn't written by where you start, it's written by what you choose to build. And Nigeria's got everything it needs to build something extraordinary. Let's watch it happen. I'm Asonga Idris, and this is the Strategic Lens on Africa Today. See you in my next investigation.